Okay, so here we are. We're going to talk a little bit about my plan for my new HO scale layout. Uh, this is going to be my first large scale layout. I've built some small ones in the past, and they've all been DC. So this is going to be the first large scale DCC layout that I'm going to be putting together. Basic size at its width is 12 feet um, by 16 or 15 and a half to 16. And the one of the particular aspects of this is kind of unique is that it is going to be mobile. In other words, it's going to be built on casters. I can move it in and out of the shop. I have a large area outside my shop that's asphalt. We have a lot of nice summer days here, and so I can keep this thing in the shop or move it out. Um, the basic concept of the railroad is I'm not looking for a particular prototype or it's kind of just an open concept. I'm looking to depict Northern California, Southern Pacific operations in support of the United States Navy, and so we're looking at a couple of things. We're going to be taking some of our lead from the Sacramento S&P maintenance yards. We're going to be looking at incorporating some aspects of the Roseville rail yards, which was a main through point for a lot of naval munitions coming out of Nevada. A couple of incidents there that some of you may recall related to that. And so that'll kind of be on this lower level. So this we're looking at now is going to be level one at about 24 inches, and then we're going to intersperse that with industry that would support naval operations. So, in a basic concept that we're looking at is probably in this area here, in this tip, that'll be the main engine facility, engine maintenance, car maintenance, refueling, all that will be down in this area here. As we kind of move around, we'll start to pick up industry, electrical power generation, fuel oil, storage. A lot of this is planning on tanker cars going up to the second level to support the dock areas and the ship maintenance, weapons production, munitions, and all that's going to be built around and through here as it comes around, and then a long yard area here for car storage, but also for staging, and that'll kind of depict that Southern California route. It the main design, I'm going to build this in two phases. The first phase will come in right through here, and so I'll be building this lower portion first. And the idea is to do all the bench work, begin to fit it out, and as we move across and it begins to start to get a little bit of completion, we'll pick up the bottom part and move right on around, and then move up to the second level. But this is going to be a natural break in the design. And if I do decide that I want to make a perimeter and move it into one of the buildings, this allows me to, in this yard area, actually expand it out and insert another piece. And if I wanted to actually, insert a 10-foot piece in there and then have another island that came out, I can. Or I could keep it tight. Structurally, 12 by 15. If I build it right, I shouldn't have any problem with it operating the way I want it to. Probably also going to have to incorporate a helix of some kind back in this area to begin to move up to the lower levels. Or excuse me, the upper level, back and forth. I do know the only track plan that I have in mind at this point is I know there's going to be a double main that works its way through here, but other than that, I'm going to kind of wait and place the industries and then build the track to support that. A couple of YouTube videos I watched, they kind of kept repeating, the rail companies built their staging yards, built their track to accommodate their needs. So that's what I'm kind of doing. As I said, this is going to be DCC block detection, switching, all of that from the get-go into the design. So we'll work through that. This is a pretty basic, simple plan. It's funny, I'm a certified Autodesk instructor in AutoCAD and 3D design, and I got a piece of paper here, and I think it's just that simple for me. I think if you understand how you're going to lay out your bench work and build it, that's fine. And I'll probably, as I go through, will document this thing in a more detailed form. But for right now, I have a pretty good idea on how I want the bench work to go together, the basic layout and plan. And the upper level, level 2, is probably going to be pretty close to this footprint. I may bring it in, downsize it a bit, but there's going to be 360-degree access all the way around. Command functions and centralized power plant will probably be in this area here. But the difference with the top level is right in through this area here, all the way down, about 14 inches in here and in here will be dry dock. And we'll probably have an 8-scale battleship, an 8-scale aircraft carrier, probably a cruiser in here, another cruiser, and a couple destroyers that will be, well, these will be dry dock. These will be dockside. Probably have some smaller ships, some destroyers in there. And 198 scale is not quite HO, but it's close enough that you can get the parts. But I think it'll make a nice depiction. And again, so you get back to track layout, I've got to be a little more cautious here, because I've got some mobile cranes that kind of depict the ones that were in Mare Island. And I'm going to have to lay out that track for at least in the dry dock and replenishing resupply areas. So we'll see how that goes. But again, this upper level to me should depict or represent Hunters Point, Mare Island, Oakland Alameda Naval Air Station, those kinds of places. So we're going to see building and major repair. We're going to see minor repair, and we're also in replenishment and over in here a lot of warehouses and those kinds of things, with boxcars coming out, tankers coming up from the bottom out of the oil plant to resupply the yard. So again, it's open concept. I'm going to model what I like, but most of it, if it's not related to either railroad operations and maintenance or shipboard or U.S. Navy operations and maintenance, it's probably not going to be on this particular railroad. So that's the basic concept that I've got in mind. I've already started Benchwork. I've got some videos of that I'll attach onto this and kind of show you where we're at and my thoughts about how we're building this. I fully expect we'll be doing some 3D printing on this. We will be doing some CAD. We'll be doing some 3D design of pieces and parts and using Inventor, and then printing those up on a 3D printer. And so we'll kind of experiment with what it's feasible to use those on, and as we move through this, I think a lot of the signals and stuff could probably be made that way. So I'm kind of excited to get started on it, and so here we go. Well, hello all. As you can see, I've got some bench work going here. This is for my first large-scale layout. I'm using a modular construction for the bench work. What we see here roughly represents about 1/6 of the overall layout, but enough for me to get started and get building. And I'm going to get started putting it together here in a bit, and we'll post some video and some updates as we go along, and hope to get some feedback and some comments from you folks on how we're doing. As I said, this is the first time that I've tried anything of this size. As once we get the basic layout, I'll kind of describe what my thoughts are as far as what I'm hoping to accomplish. So here we go. Thanks. Well, as you can see, got some of the bench work done for the lower deck. Things are starting to come together and take shape. Got the basic bench work done and got the legs built. This is going to be a movable layout. Right now it looks like it's going to be about 9.5 feet wide, probably 19 feet long. But as I build it, it's actually going to be built around a center spline that will go right in this area that will run the length of it. And right off this area here. And then I'm going to shear this entire deck with 1/2 inch plywood all the way through, and it should work. The weight doesn't seem to be anywhere near should be a problem, so I'll be able to move it in and out of the shop. Nice days, take it outside and run it. So we'll see how it works, but I don't anticipate any problems. So this is represents about 15% of the lower deck. Still have some more modules to build and put together, and hope to get that done pretty quickly and get this thing in place and start doing some layout. So that's our update. So continue on with this part of the bench work. Got the legs on, as you can see. It might seem like overkill as far as legs go, but I am planning on making this thing mobile to move it in and out of the shop. The casters I used were 150-pound casters, solid wheels, and then on the corners, 4 corners, there's actually the locking caster. So as you move it out into place, you can lock it down, but in the centers, just use a standard spinner. So right there, capacity-wise, is about 1,700 pounds. So I think we're probably going to be okay on the weight. Built the legs of reinforced angles. I'm going to try and get away without having to put any additional bracing on the legs. The first deck's at 24 inches. And again, from an engineering standpoint, should not have to brace up that bottom any more than it is. Everything's glued and screwed, pre-drilled, so there's no reason to think that it should come apart. And that's another reason I like using the module setup, is because they get these double back splines throughout the bench work, and then when I sheet it and shear it with the plywood in this direction, will actually have a doubled up or reinforced edge that I can screw into. So, we'll see. It can load it up, move it the first time, and all come crashing down. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. So stay tuned. Okay, forget what I just said about the bracing on the legs. I had a chance to think about it. And the more I thought, this is really like building a piece of furniture you're expecting to last 20 or 30 years, because it may just take that long to complete this thing. I don't know. But what I decided to do was I thought, while I got it on its back, it's easy to work on. I might as well brace this up, and wood is relatively inexpensive as far as the amount we needed bracing, so it wasn't like it was cost prohibitive to do it. But what I didn't want it to do was obstruct flow underneath, movement underneath, as far as getting underneath the layout to wire and do different things, make repairs and so on. And because I built the legs the way I did, I thought I should be able to get away with basically gusset bracing, and that's what I decided to use. And so I made these gussets. Should be fine. This thing is as solid as a rock now. Can still get underneath. Really doesn't obstruct anything to go on with the layout. And even on the second level, if I decide to brace them, I'll probably do the same thing, because they'll be up out of the way and should still be able to get it. So I think they're going to hold. I'll bet you your favorite adult beverage that you could probably hook this thing behind a pickup truck and take it down the road and act just like a trailer now. So I think we're in pretty good shape. So there we are. Okay, well, I've got the second half of the first half of the lower deck done. as far as the benchwork framing is concerned. Got the legs on and braced, got the casters on, and so we flipping it over, getting it on its wheels, and getting it attached over to the side over here, and have a final look. There's a couple of other things I need to tune up, make sure I've got holes drilled through the laterals, and because I don't want to be doing that on my back. And then looks like we ought to be pretty close to getting some plywood and some masonite on this bad boy. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you posted. Thanks. Well, as you can see, we've made some progress on the benchwork. We've got the two lower halves put together. So again, this is the first half of the lower deck, and once we get this area going and we start to build this out, then we'll go back and extend it out and around the other side to kind of a close match to this on the opposite side. And again, I'm going to keep this area in here as a break, a natural break, and as more space becomes available, if I want to break it there and insert a section to expand the layout, I can. And so what we're looking at now is we're going to start sheeting with 1/2-inch plywood. I've got some holes to drill in the laterals. Before I do that, I think it'll be a lot easier to drill them standing up than laying down. And so we'll get those drilled and start the sheeting. I wasn't going to use foam on this lower deck, but I think I've changed my mind. Although, for the most part, this is all going to be one level. It might be, I think it might be neat to at least have the option to do some things with maybe some swales and a little bit changes of elevation and those kinds of things. So if I put the foam on there, then at least I'm allowing myself that option. If I want to keep it flat, I can do that too. One additional piece that we put on is this drawer, and all of the command and control power functions will be in this area right here. In some coming updates, I'll show you exactly how I'm going to wire this drawer so it's functional with the wiring intact. I've got some some cabling tools coming that will make that easier. But basically, all that's going to come into this area here. And as I said, it's hold up pretty good, moves fairly easily, and so right now I'm pretty happy with it all. So that's our update for now. Hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll have it sheeted and maybe have some track going down. So appreciate your comments if you have them, and thanks for watching.